Welcome back to What Are Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the T92 HMC. It's the Tier 10 American SPG. It's located on the north spawn of Erlenberg and it's under the commands of Jocko 2014. Now this is literally the biggest gun in the game, 24 centimeters in caliber. It's huge. It's built on the hull of a T26 E3, which is actually a Eagle 7. It's a version of the Pershing tank, and it was developed very late in the war, as the Pershing tank was very late in the war as well. But they built this Arty. Originally they were going to use them in Japan to conquer the Japanese, because the war in Europe was all but over by the time they actually finally got around to putting these things together. But before they could actually use them and ship them out for the invasion, the war in the Pacific was over, and therefore there was no need for them anymore. So they only built 5 with the 24 centimeter gun and another 2 with the 8-inch gun. Those ones were called the T93, if I remember correctly. He's aiming for an Object 705, rounds out. Oh, he hit both of them there. He got the IS-32 and the Object 705. For a total of 822 hit points with one shot. He didn't even penetrate them. Now it does have a rather long reload time. The book reload is 46.38 seconds, but Jocko's managed to get it down to 40.66. It does have rather a large footprint as well. 1300 alpha is the damage if you can get a penetration on the enemy. And he's lined up, ready to go. Rounds out. Oh, that was another big one. And he smacked the Tiger 2 for 511. And the IS-32 took some damage there as well. So 1300 alpha, but it'll only penetrate through 60 millimeters of armor. And most of the tanks it's going to see at tier 10 have much more armor than that, unless of course he hits them in a weak spot. So really he can only really take advantage of the penetration if he meets lower tier tanks. And in this game it's tier 10 tanks with tier 8 tanks in it. Drags out the E3. And that was a near miss for 404 hit points. Now the one thing you do have with the T92 HMC is plenty of time to change position to avoid counter battery, but you can see Jocko's not moving at all. Although that sounds like a round that was landing nearby. In fact, there's one of these Arty is actually still in America as a gate guard to the Detroit Arsenal. So you can only get to see it if you've got security clearance, because it's actually within the arsenal itself. So ordinary people wouldn't normally see it. He's got a kill. He got the Tiger 2. So it's only those people who are actually members of the United States Army or have business in the arsenal itself who would actually get to see that Arty, but it is still there. It's not used as a weapon, it's purely a monument now to the weapons that the Americans built. Sadly, it never got put into use in anger. Well, sadly, that's actually quite good that it was never put into use for anger, in a sense, because they didn't need to. It wasn't even shipped out to Korea. One went long, landed behind the Super Conqueror, but he still splashed him for 147. And it certainly didn't go to Vietnam. In fact, actually, the T92 HMC required a very big crew in order to work it. In fact, such a big crew, they had to have a truck to carry all the personnel, and also other additional trucks to carry all the ammunition, because of course they couldn't carry that many rounds on the vehicle at all. In fact, I don't believe they actually did carry any ammunition on the T92 HMC. And in fact, the vehicle itself had 2 crew inside it, the driver and driver's mate, I believe, or driver's gunner. And he's overshot the Super Conch again. And of course maybe the tank commander as well, the artillery commander. But in fact, actually, the T92 HMC did feature in Time magazine, as they called it King Kong, and it also got called the nuke cannon, but it was never designed to actually fire nuclear shells. In fact, the only vehicles that were designed to carry or fire nuclear shells in the US Army was the Atomic Annie, and that was a much bigger artillery cannon or howitzer. And, well, again, it wasn't practical to use nuclear artillery shells in the end. It's an interesting thought of actually using nuclear artillery shells, but they are very, very complicated. And because the implosion shells, because they can't use plutonium, because that's an implosion bomb, they had to use uranium shells instead. And of course, uranium is quite a bit more expensive to make. Well, there are 5 tanks down on the enemy at the moment. This is not a very good game. His teammates have sort of let him down. He's trying to get that E3. Runs up. Lands short. Oh dear. He seems to be getting the shells landing short or long. I suppose the only one good thing at the moment is that we do appear to have the east side of the map. Apart from the town, the enemy does have the town area. Oh, and this is looking good. He's potentially got the possibility of taking out the Skoda T50 or the Type 61. And there's an LT432 there as well. Is he going to fire quickly? Yes, he does. Oh, he whacks that 432 for 472 hit points. That was a good one. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually hit one of the other ones as well, because they were fairly lightly armoured tanks, and they wouldn't have been too happy about a shell landing in close proximity. The thing is that these shells actually have quite a large footprint. 13 meters is the radius, the blast radius, so 26 meters across the diameter. And of course, if you use the premium rounds, it's 14.5 meters on the radius, which is more than enough. He could probably get and kill that Skoda. Just going to work out where the Skoda's going. He's stopped on that corner, trying to engage the Vinci. Here comes the... Oh, he smacked... The 432 didn't know what hit him. And the Skoda took a bit of that as well. He took the blast damage. I think that Wizzy 111 1GFT didn't actually know who was directly behind him, or at least he was hiding behind the rock, thinking the tower, thinking that was one of his teammates there, but it wasn't. So he got taken out. So there's nobody now between Jocko and the enemy. So if they advance towards him, he's going to be the next one to know it. His view range is 310 meters, so he is going to see them fairly close. They're probably going to come around that tree line if they do. There are only 3 tanks down now on the enemy. They still hold the eastern side of the map. Here comes the Type. Following it. Oh, good hit. He was seen, and yes. But the Type 61 was taken out immediately afterwards by the Leopard 1, who's just across the river. It's all he could do, really. If he tried to retreat across the river after the Wizzy 111 was killed, he probably would have been shot in the rear by the Type who was advancing up the tree line. But at least the Leopard got the kill. And now it's they're just 4 tanks down on the enemy. That's quite a lot, but they do have some rather good tanks. And thankfully, Jocko is actually following one of these tanks right now, the Leopard 1. Really nice 105mm gun on this tank. It's fast, no armour. Always found someone who dies straight away. Yeah, these are deadly tanks, the Leopard 1. Of course, as you all know, Wargaming buffed the Leopard to make it a much better sniper recently, because it was pretty poor for quite a long time when it shouldn't have been, because it was a sniping tank. Well, he's only one of two left now in the game, but he's facing 5 opponents. His teammates in the T44-100 is up by the windmill. And I think this player's name, well, we'll call him Port. He's waiting by the cap area and decided to go round the houses. 2 of the enemy are over on near the T44. The worry is that one of the enemy is a Rebel Arise, got a fairly good gun, the 105mm, and it looks like that T44 is about to die. And an IS-32's turned up. Well, he's trying to snapshot there. I think it's the IS-32. Can't actually see if he's actually... which one is he aiming at? Yes, he did get the IS-32, but he was seen, so he's ducking into cover quick. So he's only facing 4 now, but potential Kolobanov if he survives and wins. Now, he didn't decide to go through the gap there. He might have been spotted by the enemy up there. Oh, Revelry Say is moving up. Might be able to get a shot on that guy. Yes, nice. High alpha on that 105mm gun, which of course is a British gun, or rather German produced, British design. CL7A1. Of course, it's got the fume extractor halfway along the barrel. Okay, now, where are the targets? Let's have a look. We've got a T30 and a CS53, and they've got one Arty who's bound to be right at the back, the T92 HMC. I can't see him wanting to move up because he is just so big. You saw Jocko stayed behind cover for most of that game. No sign of them. We know the T30 was seen on the outskirts of the town. CS53 was seen up near the windmill. If he was to cross the river and go back down the west side of the map to get around behind the enemy, he might be spotted as he crosses the river. The others are sort of suggesting that he go down to the river crossing. They're saying kill all. They're optimistic that he can do the job. I must admit, this is actually quite a good position to shoot from. CS53 is not in sight. And we've had the 2-minute warning, so they're going to be running out of time to get to the 50-second mark. They have started capping. Okay, I stick to the tree line. Yes, he's doing that. Okay, there's the T30. So we can get some damage on that guy first. It's getting close. Oh! Now remember that T30 has got a big foot. And there's the Arty to say hello. That T30's got a 750 alpha, but he's only got 569 left. He's definitely determined to get close. Just couldn't dial it in time, and now he's a one-shot. This could be interesting. Yep, he's gone. And the CS53 is a one-shot in the cap. And if he waits a second more, he's going to get his defender. Yes, he's got his defender, and now it's just Port and the T92 HMC, and the Arty just fired in So I think now he's going to run down the other end of the map, but I don't think he's going to get there in time. 15 seconds left in the game. So it's going to be a draw. But it was a good fight out by Port. Well done to him. And certainly a good fight by Jocko as well. Everyone's pleased about this. And that's it. Time's up. And it's all over. It is a draw. So let's have a look at the end of battle stats. And here's the end of battle results, and it was a first class tanker for Jocko 2014 in the T92 HMC. He also managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He managed to get 15, a Gauze medal for doing more damage than 8 times the hit points of his own vehicle, and he also picked up a Confederate medal for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. And the win rate from the game was 5,999, which is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at team score. Well, the guy with the highest damage in the game was the Leopard. Yes, not really a surprise. He managed to get 8 kills in that game. Got the Radley Walters, a high caliber, a Top Gun, and a Defender out of that battle. 5,450 hit points, but you can see that Jocko wasn't that far behind him with only 5,349. Yes, he was 101 hit points different from picking up the high caliber himself. When it came to kills, it was definitely the Leopard who got the highest with 8 kills. 4 kills went to the Skoda T50. 3 kills went to the enemy T92 HMC. And then we've got 2 kills for Jocko, the FE215B 183, and the Type 61 and Reveler Risei on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, it was actually the Skoda T50 who did the best with 795. Then came the Leopard with 736. And then the GSOR 1008 on the enemy team with 632. And we can see that the Death Star managed to get 605, which puts Jocko in 5th place when it comes to XP. So he's a little way down the table, but he still played a good game. He fired 11 rounds in that game, got 2 direct hits, no penetrations, but 18 splash. Damage of 5,349 hit points, of which 5,027 were at more than 300 meters. Obviously, the close shot was the Type 61, who got very close. 2 hits received, both penetrations, I'm afraid, yes, foot terminal. 9 enemy vehicles were damaged, 2 were killed, and 369 hit points of stun assist off 16 stuns. On a premium count, he earned 64,961 credits, got 7,200 for Courageous Resistance. That's because he managed to get a Epic medal and a Battle Hero medal in that game, so his total came to 72,161 credits, and after repair and ammunition resupply took away 13,991 credits. If he'd actually had a free-to-play account, he would have made a loss for the game. He also picked up 30 bonds for the achievements and 5 for this being a tier 10 vehicle, and took away 35 bonds altogether. 864 XP, 501 for Courageous Resistance, and 1,365 experience points altogether. So not a bad game there for Jocko 2014. Bit of a shame that it's a draw, but it was a very good fight by the Leopard to get a draw for them. And yes, he held on very bravely, especially taking on a T30 with a 155mm gun. It's quite dangerous because that thing would have been able to reduce him to a smouldering wreck with just one shot in the right place. But apparently the player just didn't know how to play it properly and fell prey to Port's 105mm. So if you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.